Aaron Rodgers will be remembered as one of the most talented throwers of the football that we've ever seen. I mean, a single season for him in terms of throws that he makes oftentimes could complete a highlight reel for many quarterbacks over their career. He's just so spectacular with his timing, his command at the line of scrimmage. He's able to place the ball near perfectly, with ease. It's been so much fun to watch over his career with the Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is one of the best players in his generation, an all-time talent who replaced a Hall of Famer and somehow surpassed his legacy. Rodgers is entering a defining moment in the final years of his NFL career.
Just have a lot of gratitude for all the people who had an impact on me during the journey. It's been a great journey.
We know that this team will be a once-in-a-lifetime team.
The Packers, though, are sort of betting on the same thing as the Chiefs, which is we believe our quarterback will make our receivers better. But, outside of Alan Lazard and the kid that they drafted this year, can you name any other Green Bay wide receivers? I mean, they all left. Malcus Valdez-Scantling is a Packer, Equanimeous St. Brown is a Bear, and Davante Adams is now a Raider.
The 2022 Packers offense is going to look different than what fans have witnessed in recent years. Green Bay lost a player responsible for 34.3% of Green Bay's receiving yards last season. And now with Davante Adams with the Las Vegas Raiders, changes must be made and questions arise.
Even going back to Aaron Rodgers' earliest stages as the Packers starting quarterback, he had a really talented and deep receiving core. Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver at the beginning. In the middle, Jordy Nelson at his apex. Randall Cobb had become a Pro Bowl wide receiver. And more recently, Davante Adams becoming, I would say, pretty inarguably the number one receiver that Aaron Rodgers has ever played with. And going into the 2022 season, he doesn't have anybody like that. Now, that could change, obviously. The Packers could acquire a high-end receiver at some point during the season. But we don't know that right now. This is going to be a wide receiver group that, while on paper is very talented, is also very inexperienced. It's going to be relying in some way, shape, or form on multiple rookie wide receivers. And Rodgers is certainly capable of turning lesser receivers into maybe not dominant players, but really successful wideouts.
We have seen glimpses of the LaFleur passing attack without an all-pro wideout. Incredibly, Rodgers and LaFleur are 7-0 without Davante Adams in the lineup. Obviously, a small sample size over 3 years doesn't imply Green Bay will be just as effective without Adams in 2022.
As we ask ourselves, how is Green Bay going to overcome the absence of Davante Adams? Well, from the receiver perspective, they're not going to. That goes without saying. Nobody's going to replace Davante Adams. This receiver room is worse without him. But you hope with the elevated play of the defense, you hope the special teams getting better, the health of the offensive line. The Packers still have arguably the best running back duo in football. Robert Tunyon's going to return from injury. You hope that all of those factors together are going to help, mitigate the absence of Davante Adams this season.
One critical factor will be the Packers' offensive line. If everyone is healthy, this is arguably the best pass-protecting offensive line in football. All of that will prove essential in 2022, while Rodgers is still playing at an elite level.
The health and the depth of the offensive line is supremely important. I think that's a big reason why the Packers allowed Lucas Patrick, a useful but not star offensive lineman, to walk, and they spent 3 draft picks on offensive linemen. Now, we talk about the wide receivers that the Packers drafted. That's obviously a big part of their narrative going into the 2022 season. They spent a 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a late-round pick on the offensive line, too. I think that underscores how important the offensive line is to the Packers' plan.
LaFleur will certainly depend on the ground game more this fall, and that is an area of strength on this team. Aaron Jones remains one of the best all-around running backs in the NFL, and A.J. Dillon is the perfect complement for this committee backfield.
I think we're going to see a lot more of the ball being spread around, and that's not just to the receiver position. The running backs are going to be very much involved in the passing game. The last 2 seasons, Aaron Jones has been second on the team in targets, so I would expect that trend to continue. Tight ends are also going to be a big factor as well. Getting Robert Tunyon back is going to be big for this Green Bay Packers offense. So I would expect that we're just going to see there isn't going to be one guy in particular. It's going to be the ball being spread around, and more so than in years past, they're really going to have to rely on that Matt LaFleur offense, which does do a very good job of getting guys into space, creating easier opportunities for them. And then Aaron Rodgers, he's going to have to continue to play at a high level as well to help elevate that wide receiver position, which right now has a bunch of question marks.
Another thing to consider, the Packers might not need Rodgers to make this the same prolific scoring offense. Green Bay will have one of the best defenses in the NFL, keeping games tighter and shifting the need for 30-point games to 24 points. Plus, a more effective rushing attack can soak up the clock.
I don't know if it's going to be the best defense the Packers have had during the Aaron Rodgers era, but at least on paper it has the potential to be right in that discussion. This is going to be the year where they have as much talent as they've had in years on defense, and they're going to a situation where they have some stability in terms of the coaching staff. All those things together bode really well for the Packers on defense, and I don't know if they're going to be a quote-unquote defensive team this season, but it's going to be a big part of their success if they have it this year.
Aaron Rodgers' career with the Packers started with uncertainty. Selected with the 24th pick in the 2005 NFL Draft, he attempted just 59 passes in his first 3 seasons. With a Hall of Fame starting quarterback ahead of him on the depth chart always waffling about his future, Rodgers had to wait. It's funny how history has a way of repeating itself. Rodgers initially indicated in 2019 that he planned to retire at 45 after winning a Super Bowl. He later heavily weighed retirement after the 2020 season, and it was on the table once more after another early elimination from the playoffs. The new contract provides some clarity. Rodgers, the highest paid NFL player in 2022, will retire with the Packers. It's just a matter of when he walks away. Taking a year-to-year approach on his NFL career, it feels safe to assume number 12 will play through the 2023 season. After that, a chapter will be closed on Packers history, and the debate over Rodgers' legacy begins.
It's really hard looking through not just modern NFL history, but all of NFL history to find a quarterback that's combined his efficiency, his pure arm talent, his abilities as a quarterback beyond what he's just able to do with his throwing arm. There really is a short list of those players. I mean, you're talking about not just guys like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. You're talking about, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, Steve Young, John Elway. You have to go back really, really far. And even against those guys, in terms of his individual talent, he still stands out. So if you're looking at it through that lens, pure individual dominance, you can make an argument of him being the best quarterback in NFL history. When you bring in another context, the team success, obviously the Super Bowls, in his case, only having one, that's going to bring him down in the estimation of many. But if you just look at him as an individual, it's really hard to knock him down very far because he has just been so good for so long through so many different changes on that Green Bay Packers team.
If Green Bay hoists the Lombardi Trophy once more, there could be a strong argument for Aaron Rodgers as one of the 5 best quarterbacks in NFL history. Even if his team falls short of the mountaintop again, Aaron Rodgers should go down as the best quarterback in Packers history.